Hey, it's Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY, and adventures, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite new cars, new to me, that I have, which is my 1991 G20 Conversion van. This van has been fantastic this season. I did lots of trips on it. I want to give you a little walk around, talk about what I've done, show you the inside, and more importantly, discuss some issues that I've had with it or maybe that I haven't had with it. Stay tuned. Let's dig into this G20 conversion van. So as I mentioned, this has absolutely became one of my fun family vehicles that we have. It's quirky, it's historic, it's powerful with the 350 V8, and it's fun. We take this thing on lots of trips, but I want to give you a bit of a walk around and point out some cool stuff I've done to it. So if you've been following this channel, you'll remember that it used to have a lot of paint missing back here. I did a DIY rattle can paint job. There's a video that's coming out about that. And while it doesn't look perfect, boy, it looks a whole lot better than it did. And I did it all on the back here. I did nothing with the fiberglass top. So maybe next year I'll paint that a little bit. I just wanted to see how this would hold up. But it has held up great. So I'm very pleased with that. I also installed the Reese trailer hitch. That was a nightmare because I did not know that this bumper evidently was pushed in at some point, which created a lot of issues I wasn't anticipating. There's a video on that as well. Of course, I have the Harbor Freight cargo carrier back here. I specifically picked out the ATV carrier only because I wanted it to go up and have a nice lip. So this is all built in to go up. It gives me more ground clearance. Going to some of these car shows at Hershey and Carlisle and others, that has been absolutely critical because you get off road sometimes in the grass and hit some ravines. And I didn't want that to be so low. On top of that, I added this Tractor Supply Extreme Tough Contico carrier. I drilled through it, I put wood in the bottom, and I secured it to the rack. So that's been absolutely fantastic. I have fixed the window vents that were coming off. They're nice and secure now. I fixed the wipers. I fixed the wiper fluid pump. I got to sort out the antenna here. It kind of just comes out, and sorting it means I'm probably just going to put a new antenna on it. But I do want it to be the old school kind to keep to the 1991 theme, so got to figure out what to do on that. I painted a lot in here that was missing. I have not done anything at the top. Again, I'm trying to see how things hold up. What else have I done? LED bulbs in the front. LED brake light bulbs in the back. I did a bit of a cleaning on it, although it's dirty now because I just got back recently from a big car swap. I did the air conditioning install. There's a video on that. That was absolutely fantastic when we went up to Knoebels in Bloomsburg, PA this year. And the reason why I had that cargo carrier on the back primarily is so I can haul a generator. Okay, so let's hop in this bad boy and start it up. I absolutely love this thing, man. And the price, is just, you can get these vans, relatively affordable. And it just hums. That big old 350 V8, 167,000 miles on it. I put well over 1,000 miles on this bad boy since I've been driving it. I installed the Android device here. It goes through the auxiliary input. But basically that gives me Android Auto or Apple CarPlay through the speakers and really good GPS navigating, which has been really helpful on some of these trips. I need to clean this up. It's still a bit grimy. That is on the to-do list. I intended on doing a really good detail job this year, and honestly, I just didn't get around to doing it. And it's the end of the season now, and I figured I'll clean the outside and I'll put it at the building and put it away, but I'm not going to do a real big detail inside. I'll wait until next season to do that. You can see it's fairly quiet. The AC had a vacuum leak. That was resolved. Let me show you actually how we resolved that. So what happened with the air conditioning, the vents would not blow at all. It would only come out of the defrost mode. And these older systems work off of a vacuum. So let's pop the hood. I'll show you what had to happen. So one comment I've been getting a lot on this fan is, what is this ball? This ball helps create the vacuum. This hose was so brittle, and it goes into these vacuum lines, and these vacuum lines are actually what create and help the air conditioning function. This was cooked. I had to replace that vacuum line. I also replaced the little windshield reservoir fluid pump. What I've noticed though is I have a lot of sediment. I should have cleaned this tank after I did it, because I get a lot of sediment and it hits that filter and it clogs it. So I'm keeping the filter on, and I'll have to flush out this tank. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Some other little minor things, the battery disconnect is still there obviously, but an entire brake fluid flush, and we replaced all of the brakes completely around, everything, including the brake hoses that went to each tire. They were just absolutely corroded. The main lines were not in terrible shape, so those, believe it or not, could stay, but the other equipment was just absolutely cooked. So all brake work was done on the G20 van as well. So that's super important, right? A van of this size, you want to make sure, I'm going to cut this off, you want to make sure you can obviously stop. You don't want to be cruising down the highway and say, oh shoot, I can't stop. So, I did not do the brake work on this. I had a local shop do it. I didn't have time, and I know that's not an excuse, but we were trying to get this ready for a big trip to Bloomsburg, so I had them do it, and all is good. The AC seems to have a slow leak. I had to charge it one time this summer, but when it works fantastic. Absolutely no issues. So all the brake work was done. The vacuum line was replaced. All of the fluids were flushed in the brake system. Obviously, fixed the little visors, added the trailer hitch, added the cargo carrier on the back with the bin, added the AC unit. Obviously, minor things like the wipers, and did this painting on the back, which turned out pretty good. I got a quote to get the whole van painted, and it was $4,000, which actually isn't a bad price in today's times, but I just could not pay basically the price of the van to get it painted, so I did not have it professionally painted. Let's hop inside and take a peek. So not a whole lot has changed in here. I did do some cleaning, but not the detailed cleaning I wanted to. But the big thing back here would be the installation of the AC. This thing is fantastic. It works great. I just have an extension cord. I pop the window in the back. These windows pop so easy. You just kind of go like that, and then I just snake the cable in, and I run the generator on the back, and it powers it perfectly. Video on me fixing that TV, it works. Although, I think we're going to put a flat screen TV over it, only because it's pretty darn small, and boy, wouldn't it be cool to have Roku TV in here or something. But the way I want to do it is, this TV can push in even farther, so I'll push it back all the way and just keep it in there, and I'll try to do a mounting inside the hole, and then it would just cover this area, but I don't want to lose storage here, so I got to get a relatively small TV. The bed works perfect, which is great. I should actually put that in the up position. But I also had to fix the this. It cracked. Just a little bit of wood glue and a lot of clamps, and I got the little table fixed, which which made me quite happy there to have that resolved. I went ahead and put the bed up. I'm concerned keeping it down all winter and coming back in the spring and it not going up. But the controls on the side let you control it, and then you can move the bed or the whole seat forward or backwards. That works A-OK. I fixed the wood back here. Looks like this one's fallen down now, so I got to tighten that up. But not a whole lot done inside. It all seemed to have functioned A-OK. And obviously these seats turn around and angle depending on how you might want to sit. So as you can see, there hasn't been a ton of change inside, and that's probably a good thing. That means that the vehicle was in pretty darn good shape when I got it. We've went through some heavy storms. There's been absolutely no issues with any leaks from the fiberglass extended top. And I'm like 5'8", going on 5'9", and you can see here that I can't completely stand up, but that would be me completely standing up. So I really do like the extra rooftop here. The AC, while I do love it, it does prohibit me from getting in the back. I got to hop out, which isn't an issue unless it's raining or something. And we've been through some heck of storms. But you're probably asking yourself, Jason, that's super cool, but tell me about the type of driving that you've done and what, if any, issues that you've had. So we've went on quite a few trips. The biggest trip by far, we went to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, Knoebels, which is a little theme park in Elysburg, going towards Elysburg, Pennsylvania, and Bloomsburg and that sort of thing. But Knoebels is actually in Elysburg, and that's about 170 mile one-way drive. So right there, you got about 340 miles, and it's some pretty big mountains. I had to take it out of overdrive and just put it in drive, and you definitely was feeling it going up some of those big inclines. And we had this thing loaded down. You would have thought we were going for like a week. My son took his bike, tons of stuff, everything that a little kid would take, right? We had 2 dogs in it at the time as well. So the whole 3-day trip turned out to be, I would say, call it 500-600 miles. We did a lot of driving in the Elysburg and Bloomsburg area. No issues. AC worked perfectly. Everything chugged away. No issues whatsoever. So thumbs up on that. I also did some big trips to some car shows and swaps this year. I went to Carlisle, and it was absolute mud fest. It was raining and terrible weather, unfortunately. But the van proved to be incredibly useful because I could escape Carlisle and go back to the van and take a little bit of a break. But what was super fun was going to the Hershey swap. So between Carlisle, Hershey, and Bloomsburg, Elysburg, we probably put about 1,200 miles on the van, just in those 3 trips. Outside of those trips, a lot of local driving to some of the reservoirs and whatnot. I would say max probably 1,500 miles of driving put on the van this year. This year just being 4 or 5 months, right, with only a handful of trips. I don't drive this thing around town or anything like that. The issues are minimal and really non-existent. I mean, the wiper fluid pump went out. That was an easy enough fix, big deal. I had a really weird issue with the wipers. These wipers, as I was driving, luckily it wasn't raining at that point, they pop in like that. This little plastic, the wiper just flipped up and nearly came off. So I've just added a zip tie to both sides to make sure that doesn't happen again. You can see that plastic's all bent. I'll probably put new wipers on it, and hopefully those tabs won't be an issue, because this bar, it just has the bar and a little tiny, piece of metal that basically goes up that this hooks to. I just think these were cheap wipers. But I didn't want to replace them till next year because it's going to be sitting. So I want absolutely fresh wipers. No issues with the brakes. I'm very happy I did all of the brake work. I mean, these vans have lasted a long time because the drivetrains are fantastic. 350 V8. Definitely glad it's a 350 V8 and not a V6, especially going on the mountains. No other issues to report. One minor issue. My tail light bulb. The new bulbs were a little bit, they didn't fit as snug. And I noticed that my tail light went out. And my fix to that is actually something my dad did like back in the 80s. He took the bulb, he wrapped aluminum foil around the base, and then he put it back in. And in doing so, it created enough tightness to keep it from loosening. I was turning it on and I was worried that maybe it wouldn't work. Now it's really bright out here, but you can see that that did exactly what I wanted. So the old aluminum foil trick worked. I'm told that the new bulbs just don't fit as snugly and that the actual, insert it goes into over time just gets a little worn out. Instead of replacing the whole assembly, I want to try to keep everything as original as possible. I did that. But this is my 1991 Chevrolet G20 Conversion van done up by Transair. And that is the experience we had with the van this season. I am absolutely thrilled that I bought this van. I absolutely love it. My son loves it. My wife loves it and appreciates it for what it is. I would say you might get a few looks given, it shows its age, but that's all the fun of having it. And you just don't see many of these. When I was going on this trip, I saw one other van that looked somewhat similar to this. A lot of the G20s you find are just more of the work vans. So this has been an absolutely amazing memory creator machine for the family. I'm gonna go take it up to Jason and Jack's, the building. I'm gonna clean the exterior. I'm gonna put a cover on it. I might see if carcovers.com sells an indoor cover for it. If not, I might have to just tarp it, because even if a car is inside, I don't want dust getting on it. The garage gets a little grimy sometimes. And then next April, I'm gonna pull it out, bring it back to the compound, the house here, and plan some more trips. And this would definitely be at Hershey and Carlisle again next year, and probably Bloomsburg and some of the similar trips and beyond. This is Jason with jamzDOTnet. Our channel is all about cars, DIY, and adventures. Lots of videos on this G20 van and lots of other fun videos. I hope you join our journey, and I hope you give me a subscribe. Have a great day.